Hello, lovely people. So, welcome to this live stream. This is Campus Life in China, and on this platform, we are here to inspire people from developing countries, especially African countries. And here, every weekend, we bring interview discussions, guests from other countries who have been studying in other countries, who have been living in other countries, to share their opportunities and their privileges they are enjoying there, to inspire you to also maybe think of traveling outside to learn more knowledge and all those stuffs. Today we are with one special guest. He is Master John Paul Rugaba. He is a postgraduate student, a master's student in China, and he is also the CEO of Sangyin Podcast, one of the most powerful and biggest uh, podcast fan in China. If you want to know everything about China, then you have to listen to his podcast. So without wasting my time, I'd like to invite him to this stage as we discuss how China has impacted his life. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone who's watching us, who's listening to us also. Thank you, Dax. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share how China has impacted me, what I've learned, and if I can share wisdom with my experiences, everyone who's watching and listening, I'll be very happy. And thank you for this opportunity. I'm really honored.
Oh wow, I'm also very happy you have honored this invite. Yeah, he is the CEO of Sangyin Podcast, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Well, thank you so much, Dax. Rugaba John Paul from Ugandan, making 26 this year, if it's needed, if I could add that.
Wow.
I'm doing a master's in computer science, majoring in artificial intelligence at Central China Normal University in Wuhan. I've been in China for 6 years. I came in 2018, where I did my undergraduate, software engineering at Zhengzhou University. Now I'm proceeding. Um, as earlier said, I have a podcast, Sangyin Podcast, that sort of gives a voice to the diaspora to share their stories and views,
Yes.
to inspire a new generation on the continent. And
Yes.
I'm very passionate about meeting people, learning their stories, and I'm a Pan Africanist. I love Africa to the core. So, yeah, that's all about me.
Wow. A good Pan Africanist, but you didn't mention your country. Well, Africa
Oh,
is.
I'm from Uganda, East Africa. I'm from Uganda.
Oh wow. So this is the first time we're about to have somebody from Uganda. That is so powerful. Yeah. So how long have you said you've been in China for 6 years now?
Yes, 6 years. 6 years.
Yeah. So what really came to your mind to think of coming to China?
Well, the honest truth is, at the time, 'cause I finished my high school in 2017, and
Okay.
initially I wanted to stay back home. I never thought I would leave back home, but
Yeah.
my sister was already in China, so it kind of became
Okay.
easier for me to come in here. And perhaps the Chinese scholarship requirements were not as strict as, let's say, the UK, Europe, and what. So it
Yes.
kind of made the process and decision easier for me to come to China. Those are the two factors. The fact that I had someone already in China before, and their
Yes.
requirements were not that strict, so it was easy for me to apply. And I think looking back then, that's the advantage China has compared to other popular scholarship destinations, is that by then the requirements were not that strict that you should have passed how many points, how many this. It was,
Yeah.
do you have a good study plan? Do you have all the documentation in place? Are you sure what you want to study? Will you abide by the policies? And it gave opportunity to many people from the African continent, and I'm very glad China did that. And yeah,
Oh wow. So you mean the requirements is so easy as of now?
as of now, they have a bit become stricter. I don't know why, maybe because of COVID. But
Yeah.
still, if you're to compare China and the UK and the US in terms of government to government scholarship requirements, China is
Yes.
much more less strict. And yeah. terms of that.
So okay, so had you not the requirements were so easy, will you think of coming to China?
Um, Definitely, yeah, I think so. Yes, because the funniest thing, which I think China is trying to work so hard, is its image. Back
Yes,
home, when I was growing up, China was not so much. They'll say you eat snakes, it's weird, and all this language that no one understands. But
yes,
but the image China has right now, being a great economic power, a great technological power, trust
yes.
me, it convinces you. Even if you all have that stereotypes about China, you just come in a place and feel you want to be part of that global transformation. So definitely, transfer requirements I would come
Wait,
because China
so
is
like
really.
before even coming to China, did you know that China was maybe that advanced as now?
I knew, but I didn't take so much interest in knowing or trying to. It was just like, okay, China is the second most developed country, blah blah blah. Stops there. There was not so much interest in knowing how good China has reached or how good China has developed. I remember my first interaction with knowing that China is great was when
Yes,
I first bought a Huawei phone and it was working very nice. I think it was a I think it was P7, Huawei P7. And I was
yeah.
very fascinated by this phone. So I went and did groundwork on Huawei, the company, and what I was like, whoa, these guys are doing good. And then when I realized that Techno Mobile is quite famous
Yes.
in Africa, it's also done here. I was like, wow, yeah, these guys are really doing something good. So that's when it clicked in me that okay, now China is really doing really good stuff. Then I came.
Oh wow. For me, I'm surprised you were able to even go and check how Huawei and all those things. I personally, before coming to China, I didn't really know much about China as research more about China. Then that's so great. So what are the basic mindset, like what you really had in mind about China?
What I really had in
What
mind
you knew about China?
before I came,
Yeah, before coming.
most of it was at the point of ignorance. I
Okay.
Okay, I knew, but then I knew China is okay, good technologically.
Yes.
I knew maybe their food is weird because here is people they talk about they eat snakes, they eat tortoises, they
Yes.
eat dogs and all that. um, I also knew that China was trying its best at that time to invest in Africa because there were roads that were being developed in near our place and there were Chinese doing it. But apart from
Yes.
that, maybe that the Chinese goods are always fake goods. But apart from that, nothing much. Nothing really, really exciting that would be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. No, nothing.
Oh wow. So before coming, you knew Chinese products should be very fake.
Yeah, and I had an experience with them, so it just confirmed what I thought.
Oh wow. So now, after arriving in China the first week, what was the experience as compared to how you knew or thought about China?
Well, for the first week, I thought I would eat dog food. I didn't eat dog food. Um,
Dog?
Dog food. I thought I would eat those weird foods. Surprised, I was surprised there's even rice. I remember
Yeah.
I was surprised there's rice there. So the food bias that I had before, it wasn't there.
Yes.
And the fact that in the school that I was, there were many foreigners. I thought I would be the only foreigner there. But the fact that there were quite many
Yes.
foreigners, it surprised me. It showed that China was trying to open itself to many people. I think I met you in
Yes.
Genjo also. But if you asked me when I was going, will I meet an African, a black man in China? I'd be like, no. But that's what that really
Yeah.
surprised me, caught my attention. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's very true. I when I came to China, I was surprised to meet several people from like almost all the countries in the world.
Mm.
I
And
I only thought I'll only come and have only Chinese.
And that's one thing that I usually tell people because obviously we come to China to study and to get our papers and all that.
Yes.
But okay, I wouldn't say the education is not that so good. It's good, but maybe it
Yes.
may not be as much as we want to expect. But
Yes.
if someone ever asks you, what is it that you gained so much in China? There are two things. One, exposure, because the amount of exposure you
Yes.
get here. First, my country doesn't have a subway system, but now
Wow.
I see subways. It's everywhere. It's what you use. These WeChat,
Exactly.
Alipay, digital payments. We don't have it. Or someone may
Yeah.
say mobile money, but it's not as advanced and user friendly as these mobile money payments here in China. So that exposure
Yes.
puts you an advantage than someone who's back home. And secondly, the networking. I'm able to meet you, Dax. I'm able to meet someone else from another country. I'm able to meet someone from another country. Those are experiences someone cannot take away from you. And those are experiences that you get by being in China. That's what I believe. So to me, those are the key two advantages someone gets from being here. The amount of exposure you get and the connections and the networking ability you get by being in a community of very many people from every part of the world. Yeah.
Wow. I think you have already mentioned what I wanted to ask you is how China has had great impact on your life. So I personally, I never knew much about most of the African countries. Until I came to China, I came to know much about Uganda, Tanzania, and several countries. So that's really true. The networking is so powerful. You learn much about the world and other things. So how far is your Chinese language?
I'm still battling with that one. I'm not good person at languages, me as a person. So I would say it is okay, but not that okay. Yes, I can understand. I can try to communicate, but I would say it's maybe basic level. It's not fluent. It's just at basic level.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I see. I think one biggest issue of most people, I personally, before coming to China, my biggest issue was the language. Am I coming to learn in Chinese language? I was so concerned about that. So, like, how have you been able to manage living in China in a country where, I don't know, there's big language barrier?
Well, one policy that I have is that which I have failed personally, which is one of my regrets staying in China, is
Yeah.
not really extensively learning the language because I believe Mandarin is one of it's not I think it's the most spoken language in the world, and with Chinese investments everywhere in the world, it is once you know Mandarin, it places you higher, especially in the employment
Yes.
sector, in the service sector. So Mandarin is something very key that people have to learn and understand. How I survived? Well, at first maybe use translation apps here and there, but I wouldn't advise someone to use translation apps for a very long time because as you need to communicate with the people. One thing I've realized is that with the Chinese, once they realize you know Chinese or you have some bit of English and some bit of knowledge of Chinese, they become very
Yeah.
friendly to you. Become very friendly to you. So to encourage those people-to-people connections, I'd advise you learn Chinese. But usually you can survive by using translation apps here and there. Yeah, that's it. For the first 2 or 3 years you're in China, but try as much as possible to learn the language. The advantages are very, very many in the long run. Countless advantages. Yeah.
Worried about the language. People, there are so much of the language. They said they don't language barrier, especially for parents. Hello.
Hello, hello. Can hear you.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah. I was saying saying that so many people are worried about this language issue. What advice do you give to people who are worried and concerned not to come to China because of the language barrier?
Well, not every one. Okay, two things. One, English is trying to get a foothold in China, so 1 in 10 people, one may try to understand English. So it's not like not everyone understands English. 1 in 10 random people, one may understand English. And secondly, once you reach in an environment, let's say like in a school, trust me, there will be friends and peers and teachers who will help you have a better understanding of the language. So you should embrace that you'll be in a school setting where the teachers will help you, your friends will help you, and the system
Yeah.
itself will help you learn. So don't worry, everything will be fine. Just come, grab life by the horns, and everything will be good for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everything will be good. So that's so nice. Among all the different kinds of Chinese culture, which of them has really impacted you?
Um, about Chinese culture,
Yes. The language, food, dance, what else? Which of them?
for me, it is the history. Chinese history has always fascinated me. You know, every
History.
time
Oh, wow.
every time that I'm idle, I always read Chinese history because their history is 5,000 years old with about 13 dynasties, and each of that dynasty has a story.
Yes.
You know, you get to know what happened in Ming, Qing, Yuan, Song dynasties, and you'll be fascinated. And the way the Chinese have preserved their history to be told of generations after generations, to me is so fascinating. You know,
Yeah.
coming from a country where our history is only our history from about 100 years ago, as if before there was no history, to a place where it's 5,000 years history. It's really, really amazes me. And that's what I like about China. Their history is so broad, and the way they
Yes.
preserved their history. Wow, it's amazing. So, that's what I love about them.
Wow. You are talking about history. What do you mean by they have been able to preserve their history?
You know, when you go to almost, I think every Chinese major city has a museum. So when you go to the museum, there are many monuments, many historical artifacts that are there, that are there preserving their history. Number
Yeah.
two, the way their history is so much embedded in their education. A child, recently I had a conversation with a child who's about 8 years old, but he could name all the dynasties and the key points of their history, and I was like, wow, in Africa we
Wow.
can't. So
That's true.
the fact that their education and their history is so intact, and the fact that there are many different monuments, many different archaeological sites that are preserved, so that people, not only for tourism, someone may think it's for
Yes.
tourism, but also for educational purposes, for people to come and learn more about them. Despite all the wars and everything that has happened, they never destroyed their historical sites. They still kept it intact, and that's what really makes me amazed with their history.
Wow. Yeah, that's so true. If you ask any kid about anything about their history, you see they are so amazed to even answer questions about history of their country. And I think that is one thing we also learn from the Chinese.
Yeah, true. Indeed. True.
Yeah. So from history, how has the diversity in culture changed your perspective in China?
One, um, that's a very nice question. Thank you for that. When you look at the his the diversity of culture, sorry, um, it has made me be an international student, not a Ugandan student. Those are two different things. When you're a Ugandan student, all that you think about is
Yes.
the issues back home. What can you do to solve things back home and all what back home? But when you become
Yeah.
an international student, your mindset broadens. Your challenges become not solving the challenges of Uganda but of the world. So the
Yeah.
diversity of culture makes you try to blend in with other cultures. One, appreciate their culture, appreciate other cultures. meaning you can go maybe to a Russian culture event and appreciate the Russian culture. Two, you
Yeah.
can try to understand their challenges, let's say as Russians or as Ghanaians or as Tanzanians, and try to give your input in them. So you become more of an international person or student, as I was earlier said, than a localized student. So that is something that I really, the diversity, as I earlier said, your network
Yes.
becomes broad. Someone tells you about their place, someone tells you about their language, someone tells you about their challenges. You be in China and you see what China is going through. You don't try to think in a narrow mindset that okay, this is what Uganda needs. It's like this is what the world needs, and how can I
Yeah.
play a vital role in putting my efforts in solving global issues. So that's how it has really changed my mindset.
Oh wow. So how has that really improve your personal growth or develop your personal growth? Or has it really impacted your personal growth?
It has impacted it in very many ways because okay, like like what I did with the podcast, it stemmed from China because yes, you may come and say that you're Pan Africans and all that. Many people say that, but taking the action to start something and taking the initiative to meet other people is because you're in a place of diverse cultures of, let's say, the
Yes.
African continent. You're in a place where you listen to stories and you be like, okay, Africa has the same issues, but how can we change it? So that has changed my life. It has given me a sense of purpose. To be honest, China has given me a sense of purpose. There are many things I myself wouldn't achieve if I was back home. I'm not saying Uganda is
Like
very bad. I'm trying to be patriotic, but
yeah.
China has given me a sense of purpose.
Yes.
China has really enabled me to chase my career goals at a very, very fast rate, at a very, very optimal rate. And China molds you to think. No, to be honest, in Africa, we think time is always there. I don't know why, but in China,
Yeah.
you find the time is very scarce. Every minute counts. If someone says, I want you there by 5:30, in Chinese
So
culture, it's
precious.
better be there by 5:20. you know so that one motivates you. You must work hard. You must Time is a scarce resource. You must, that hard working spirit, the pushing spirit. Trust me, it has really pushed me far. To be honest, China has really pushed me far in that sense, and I'm very grateful that I managed to come here and I met the people who I've met over here. Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned about in China, time is for scarce. Like, what as compared to Uganda, what do you think is causing this issue that in Africa or in Uganda, we always think there's more time, and in China it's different.
In Uganda, we always think that if someone tells us we are coming at 6 p.m., we'll come at 6:20 and it will be fine. Our
Uganda
time
time.
management is very poor. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I think like this is because I think, I'm speaking from a Ugandan perspective, we seem not to value other people's time. Like other
Yes.
people's time, not our time, other people's time. Don't know that someone has taken their effort, someone has taken their time. So for us, we'd be like, but in China, other people's time is greater than your time. Your professor's time is greater
Yes.
than your time. Your employer's time is greater than your time. And for them, they believe that the amount of productivity you do in a specific time is equivalent
Yes.
to your general productivity. If you can do a good task in an hour, it's better than someone who does a
Yes.
good task in 3 hours. That's what they believe. The shorter the time, the higher the productivity to them. So that that is very different from our system back home with time, and their time management is just amazing.
Oh wow. Time management. That's so powerful. You mentioned that China has really shaped you in personal growth in so many ways. So how has that really influenced your career aspiration for growth?
One thing I want to tell people who are in China or who are coming to China is that
Yes.
if you want to grow in your career, if you want to
Yes.
see opportunities that you have never seen, and most
Yes.
especially if you want to develop your talent, except maybe
Yes.
sports, China is the place to go. Trust me. China is
Really?
the place
Why?
to go.
Why
For
China?
one good reason, China
Yes.
is virgin for foreigners and their talents. It's
Yeah.
very easy to establish yourself here than in Europe, because Europe everyone has done it, every foreigner has done it. But China is virgin. So once you are a very good singer,
Wow.
you can hit the road here. If you're a very good actor, trust me, you find gigs, you explode. If you're a very good entrepreneur
Yes.
and you know what you're really selling and you know what you're doing, trust me, you explode. If you're a content creator, I tell that's why everything is now exploding. If you're a very content
Yes.
creator, you look here. Just look at the people like Wadamaya, yourself, and others. Start from China. That's so virgin. It will give you the foothold to explore. If you're very good at, maybe if you're good at politics and all that thing, China is the great place
Yes.
to go because it is virgin. Foreigners have not yet made a footprint here. So
Yes.
what I would tell people is that come to China if you feel you know something and you're talented in something. There's internet that is always available, or is quite
Yes.
cheap. The equipment and everything is there. Mean you can go first hand and check it. The market is always there. There are always people who want to listen to you or to do or support you. Establish yourself, you explode.
Wow.
And so, how has it really helped me a lot in my career? A lot. First of all, for my career in terms of what I'm studying, my
Yes.
undergraduate, I didn't really feel it. I didn't really feel it, to be honest. But in my postgraduate right now, yes, because I'm doing in artificial intelligence. So you have, as I just
Yes.
said, the internet connectivity and all that, and the gadgets and all that. So I'm doing in research. So yes, that is really helpful. I don't think I would find that help anywhere else. Even in Europe, I don't think it will be as much advanced as here.
Yes.
So yes. And when it comes to, let's say, the podcast and content creation and advocacy, yes, a lot. Because back home I was never a leader. Back home I was very shy. But now I'm talking,
Oh wow.
talking all this. This is because I came to a place that won't judge me. I came to a place that was
Yes.
welcoming my thoughts. I came to a place that was ready to embrace me and give me criticism
Wow.
and encourage me. So China has helped me in a lot. But still goes back to my main thing. If you're good at something, if you're talented at something, come to China because it's still virgin. Come while it's still virgin. Because if you come when it's still saturated, you may not ever make it. So yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's so powerful. In fact, I really enjoyed the fact that you mentioned China is still virgin and it's a great land for you to develop yourself and your potential. That's so cool. Until I came to China, I never knew I had some skills which were useful, But coming to China, I realized there are some basic skills that I had, but I never knew these are useful. They can generate money. This can be so useful in my life. So wow, China is indeed virgin, and it's a great place for you to develop yourself. Well, now you have mentioned so many impacts that China has impacted in your life. I'm sure you had so many challenges. What are some of the challenges you face as a student or foreigner living in China?
Obviously, for someone who's not so good at language, the first issue should be the language. Yeah, the language. But also that one is, I would say, the 50-50 because part of it is my fault. So, because I didn't really put so much effort in learning it. But yes, the language. And then another challenge is that which I think is everywhere. To be honest, I don't want to blame them,
Yeah,
but that subtle, I wouldn't say racism, that subtle feeling of awkwardness or you know feel because
yeah,
of your skin color. But it comes to, people may think that I'm coming from the Chinese embassy, but because I'm talking so good about them. But Chinese discrimination or black discrimination and Western discrimination is very different in the sense that the Chinese discrimination comes from a place of ignorance. They have they have they have the Chinese are racially ignorant, if I were to say, is that they have never seen black people in
yeah,
their demise for the past. The first black people to really come and settle in China were in the 1950s. So that is like 60 or 70 years ago. But the Western Europe has been with black people for over what, 500 years. So that has come from a place of ignorance. So you kind of not blame them, but you hope in the coming
Yeah.
years, as more Africans and more black people come, the culture will change. So there is no, I won't call it racism, and I'll be very harsh to call it racism. It's just that there's not so much exposed to Africans than we, and it falls on us to change that about us ourselves. That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
Another
Wow.
challenge is another challenge is maybe the time difference. That's if you're doing communications back home. Maybe the time difference. But apart from that, it's okay. I have no worries. It's okay. And maybe the fact that students can't work. Yeah, students can't work. But then I believe that if you're very
Okay.
entrepreneurial,
So
because
students are allowed to work.
yeah, students are not allowed to work on student visa. But if you're very entrepreneurial, I always feel you can find a way to do away, because I've seen many students earning money through their small businesses. Some of them have had them on my podcast. So I don't want to say that's a challenge, but
Yes.
that should be something that can motivate you to think, to think. Because I've seen many who are students and they're doing great stuff and they're earning money. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. A big shout out to Rose for joining this live stream. Thank you very much. I don't know if I still available.
Yeah, I have seen. Nice, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining Rose. Wow. So we talked about students are not allowed to work in China. So how will students who are not under scholarship able to manage to survive in China? Were you under scholarship?
Yes, I was under partial scholarship. In my undergraduate, under partial scholarship. Now I'm under full scholarship. But coming to your question, when you're under private scholarship and you're not allowed to work, it's hard. Be honest, it's hard. But I've seen initiatives that they allow students to become shipping agents. I've seen many of my friends become that shipping agents by they contact a company in Guangzhou, and your work is you always be in your room, but your work is just to get clients on WeChat, and then you take a discount, a commission of 30% of the what. You don't hold the goods, you don't go to Guangzhou, but you're always seated just in your room doing, finding customers. That's one of the way I've seen people, students try to get money from that. Another thing is I'm seeing content creation. Content creation is kind of sort of exploding. That's a way you can get money. And another thing which I would say students can earn in China is through what I would call competitions. I'm a writer, and one good thing with China is that there's always that foreign bias. I would say foreign advantage. Sorry, that if you're a foreigner and your works are good, there's a high chance you may win the competition because they want a foreigner to be on the thing, and their money is good. Usually, the average is about 2,000 RMB for winning and all that. So you can take part if you're really good. Plus, as I said, if you're an artist, if you have a singer, if you're what, you have gigs there in and out. Yes, you may not fully work, like put your work out there, but you'll be earning. Look at the DJs. I met DJs who will stay next to me in this school, but he's earning every night. But you have to be a bit smart in the case of for some cities they are very strict. City where I was in Genjo, it was very strict. But if you come to a city like Wuhan, it's not that strict. But it's strict, but it's not that strict. I've heard if you go to Shanghai, it's not that strict. Guangzhou is really not that strict. So it depends on the city, but the strictness is there. But the level of strictness also, depends on the city also.
Oh wow! So like, will you advise students to do like illegal jobs, or they should develop their skills in China?
Don't do something illegal. Don't do something illegal. I believe develop your talent. I believe everyone in this world has a talent, has a gift, or you have something that will interest you. Trust me, though, you always find someone willing to pay you for what you know or for what you're good at. There's always someone willing to pay you. Just have internet and a phone and equipment, and bas, you're in. You're in. Trust me, you're in. So develop your talent, develop your skill, improve and broaden your network. That's the key point that people forget. Someone may think just being in the room for the whole day, things will work. No, meet out, meet people from other parts of the world. Be it African, Asian, South American, American. Meet,
Yes.
integrate. You don't know which opportunity you may be missing. Integrate with these people. Trust me, somewhere, once they know you're good at content creation, you're good at singing, you're good at what? Bass. You'll find something that will reward you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, can you list some of the skills you think will be so lucrative for students or foreigners living in China?
Um, the first skill, content creation. Maybe because I'm in it and I've seen it's not still virgin though, and it's one of the areas that's still virgin that I would want very many people to join. Do content creation. I've seen many people do vlogs, do YouTube channels, do podcasting and all that. Nice. Keep on doing. They'll pay you. Through that you get endorsements, you get gigs here and there. So if you feel that is your area of expertise you want to do, fine. China is the best place because the internet is very cheap. The second thing is, if you're good at music, you have that musical talent, you're interested in music, please, China is the best place to go.
Yeah.
Because there will always be restaurants or bars that always want you to play. Or if you feel like you don't want to be in a bar, there'll be university competitions and they'll give you something. There will always be
Yes.
culture events or just events of your country or whatever. Always, give you the platform, which is very good. I'd advise the same. And also, if you're good at a skill in terms of, I say IT, if you're good at website designing, coding, and all that, you're highly marketable. I've seen, because there are always clients here and there and businesses who want to put their thing online and all that. So IT is also a very marketable skill here. You may not necessarily, you can just do it in your room and handle clients in and there.
Yeah.
Another skill is maybe being a DJ. But however, with being a DJ, I've seen that the market is now becoming saturated, which is kind of a bit sad now because I thought it was virgin. But right now, I feel like every city has its own DJs. It's very hard to push through.
Yeah.
So that one may be a bit tricky. But if you're good at it, maybe you can start a virtual DJ on your own. But going mainstream, unfortunately, it seems to be very full. The next thing a student can do, try as much as possible to see how you can
Study your environment.
Yes, true. And then opportunities will come. Yeah.
Oh wow. Thank you very much for mentioning those kind of skills. So, like, this question I'd like to ask is, what are some of the societal norms that was very strange to you, but after living in China for 5 years or 6 years, you can feel like now you are part of that norm or that culture?
Their holidays. At first I thought it very strange. They have a holiday in October for 1 week. They have one in May for 5 days. They have their spring holidays for a month. I found their holidays quite weird. Like, why would you rest for all those long? But when you understand why the holidays are there and what it means to them and because they don't just celebrate holidays for the sake. In our country, a politician puts his birthday as a as a student as a holiday, but here, here each holiday has a meaning, has a significance, and the more you study about the holiday, the more you learn about the culture. So I found it a bit strange for the duration of how many days they are there in the holiday. But when I got to appreciate their culture and the significance of each holiday that happens in China, I was like, yeah, it's good. And
Yes.
also another thing that I found strange was the less religion. When you come from a Christian country that's mine, and you expect them to celebrate
Yes.
Easter. Because right now it's Easter, and you expect them to also celebrate Easter and Christmas and all that. But when you come here, you don't see any of that. Um, at first, it's a bit strange, but as I said, their culture and their history plays a
Yes.
much more significance to them, which I wish Africa would. I would prefer if Africa adopted our own belief systems and traditions more than just adopting from the other countries. So at first I found it strange, but when I appreciated, and yeah.
You're okay. That's so great. So you have been talking about Chinese preserving their culture so many times. Are you saying that the Chinese are not also adopting Western culture or different cultures?
Unfortunately, they are right now, which is unfortunate. But not all parts of their culture are being assimilated into Western culture. Um, they are adopting Western culture for just two reasons. One is for the commercial value, especially when you look at Christmas. They're adopting Western culture just to sell more Christmas and how they say Christmas stuff and
Oh,
all that. It's more the commercial value. And number two, they want to position China as an international country or the national top destination. So that's why they're trying to adopt these cultures. But as they are trying to adopt these cultures, there's still a
yeah.
heavy, 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 heavy presence of their culture, which I appreciate. Yeah.
Wow. That's so great. So, what are some of the advices you give to somebody doubting whether to come to China or not?
I'll tell them to come. Don't doubt. Because all of us started, we are doubting. Trust me, if you told me 8 years ago you come to China, I'll be like, nah, why China? Nah, nah, nah. But now I'm like, wow, this is the best decision, one of the best decisions I took. Um, many people back home may have a negative bias against China. Um, you may not
Yes.
see much, and COVID made it worse. COVID made the situation really worse because the virus came from China and all that. But look at if you feel like China is really bad for you, look at the examples of students who have come from China and are doing it big. I could list very many, starting from Ghana's own Wadamaya. Very many have come from
Yeah.
this place in the past 15 years and have been big people. And as I just say, if if you feel you want a place that will encourage you to develop your talents, keyword talents and career at a faster
Yes.
rate, China is the place. I don't think you can find these opportunities in Europe. It will be very hard for you to establish yourself in America. China is still the place to go. So that's our just advice I'll tell someone. Just come, be social, interact, network, develop your talent through opportunities that may surface. Obey the laws. You must obey the laws because if you go
Yes.
astray, this may not work out. And always try as much as possible to be better than the person you were before you left home. Because that's what counts. Try as always. Every time you wake up in the morning, compare yourself before you left home and how you feel. If you're on the right track, continue. If you feel you're lacking somewhere, put in more effort for that and then continue. Yeah.
Wow, that's so powerful. I have had several instances whereby some people have come to China and they have regretted living in China. Some have left. Why do you think um that happens? Because you are in China, you are so happy China has impacted your life so many ways, but others didn't have that impartation in their lives.
Well, I must admit, even me at some point, I regretted coming to China. It hasn't all been bed and roses, trust me,
Really?
not bed and roses. Yeah, but I would understand once you cannot work in China, which is very frustrating, especially when you come from a home or when you're in private. Money is a bit scarce and you're trying to look for extra income. It's not be very easy.
Yes.
Trust me, it's not very easy. You can't work. Um, and then two, the amount of laws that are here. You know, You don't do this, don't do this, don't go here, don't go here, do this, do this. And the fact that there are
Yes.
cameras everywhere, literally, apart from your bedroom, although they are saying there are cameras in the bedroom, but they're hidden. But they are literally everywhere. You're literally monitored, monitored, monitored. And
Yes.
that extra force of being looked, I mean, surveilled every time, the restrictions that are given onto you, the fact that you can't work. For some people, especially those doing medical courses, they feel like the type of education may not be adequate enough in terms of their country requirements. That I would understand. And
Yes.
another thing, talking about that I forgot. For my interactions and my experiences, I know you're doing a medical course, but I personally wouldn't advise someone doing a medical course in China. For my experience, I
Why?
would, because from the people I've interacted doing medical courses, very great, especially when they go back home. The adoption,
Yes.
how they integrate into their local medical practitioner field is very hard. They face a lot of
Okay.
challenges. However, if you're doing these three courses, China should be your best. If you're doing engineering, please come to China as
Yes.
fast as possible. As fast as possible. If you're doing business, as fast as possible, come to China. And if you're doing IT, please come to China as fast as possible. So, I would understand why people are too frustrated and want to feel like China has not helped them. So yeah.
Oh wow. You mentioned that at some point you also regretted coming to China.
Yeah.
What caused that and what changed the narrative?
That was during COVID. You know, the Chinese lockdown was the strictest lockdown, I think. I always tell people, if you could survive the lockdown of China very
Yes.
well, you can survive any other lockdown the world gives you, because it was very, very, very stressful. And you know, with all the depression and all that, and it was a very dark period for me. So I regret it, because you could go back home on social media and see people are free, people are not putting on masks. Then all here you have to do testing, you have to do masks, you must be locked up and all that things. It was very frustrating. I regretted it.
Yes.
But now that China has opened up, and the city, I mean, is quite, liberal. You know, you can move here and here and here. Yeah, the attitude has quite changed. Yeah.
Oh wow. So how would you compare your previous city to your current city in terms of education, society, environment, and everything?
Yeah, nice question. I like that question, because I always tell people I felt like I'm in two Chinas. um, the previous city was Zhengzhou, Henan province,
Yes.
and Zhengzhou. Zhengzhou is good in terms of, I would say, infrastructure and everything, but
Yes.
the foreigners were few. I think there weren't as many. There were few. Majority of the foreigners, according to me, were Asian. To be precise,
Yes.
Bangladeshi. So much Asian, and because of religion, language, and what, there was that sort of divide. Um,
Yeah.
the teachers and the society there was not so much exposed to foreigners and what foreigners could do. I felt there was a bit of ignorance to foreigners in there. The clubs would close, the
Yes.
school would work. To be honest, I thought Genjo was very strict. They weren't so much exposed.
Okay.
The foreigners were few. Uh, Wuhan is total opposite. There are very many foreigners. There are very many foreigners. The clubs are almost in every corner. Uh, it's to me it's the total opposite. I said I'm in two worlds literally. I was saying I'm in two worlds in the same
Yeah.
country. Yeah, that I would say is the difference. One is my in terms of education. Um, Genjo, Genjo education was okay. It was good. It was good.
Yes.
Wuhan, it is good. So the education to me is the same. I would not say Genjo
Okay.
education was bad. It's the same. It's the same as that. Even the faults that Genjo had, I see the same faults with here in Wuhan. It's the same issues. So to me, the education standard is the same. Just the way of life and the foreign experience. I feel like Wuhan is much more better than in general.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So
So
comparing these two
comparing these
cities,
two cities,
would you like to
would you
tell
like to
others to
tell others
really
to really
consider the
consider
city
the city
before coming to
before
China?
coming to China? Yes, yes. And that's a mistake I think I did. Now I'm just saying, go, just put anywhere I go. City is very key. City, trust me, is very key, Dax. Because also I say
Yes.
that you can develop. What I told you, you can develop your talents and everything. But if you're
Yeah.
in a city that appreciates foreigners, where the foreigners are many, the
Yes.
opportunities by default are many. But if you go in a
Wow.
city that's far and very close and very wide, you won't get any opportunities that we would have wanted to. So the city, please be keen on the cities. Because if the city is good, the city is more exposed, the foreigners there, trust me, you also develop your talents very, very far because of the
Wow.
city and environment you're in. So city is key.
So would you
So
like
would
to
you like
mention
to
other
mention
cities
other cities?
apart?
Um, okay, Beijing is good. Shanghai is good, though the cost of living is expensive there. Um, Nanjing, very good. Wuhan, Guangzhou, obviously everyone knows it. Shenzhen, your city, Suzhou, Chongqing.
Yes.
Yes. Which other one would I say? Um, and Hangzhou, yeah. Those ones, I guess, are the cities where should be your first choice, first and second choice. Then the rest will just be the third choice. Look for those cities. Look for those
Wow.
cities. Wow.
Wow, that's so
But that's
powerful.
so
So you
powerful.
have talked
So
about
you
so
have
many
talked about
ways
so
China has
many ways
impacted your
China has
life.
started your life.
How are you
How
going to
are you
transform
going
or
to transform or
use that in your country?
use
Apply
that in
that
your
in your country.
country? Apply that in your country. Nice question, Dax. The first thing is the course I'm doing. Computer science, artificial intelligence. I want to use my knowledge to Uganda's IT sector is very behind compared to China. It's like 7 years behind to be more accurate. I want to be that vehicle that can be used to help with technical support, technical research to help Uganda reach a point where our digital divide is not so much um, bad. I think that would be my contribution to Uganda in my career. But another thing which I'm very passionate about, the Pan Africanist thing, that's why I have the podcast, that's why I have the journals and all that thing, is that I want to give Africans a sense of belonging, to give we Africans, like we are Africans, we are proud, we have a history, we have a heritage, we are who we are. I want to give Africans that Pan-African spirit, the way the Chinese have their culture, their history within them. And
Yeah.
one thing you should note that if you look at the largest economies in the world, they have one thing in common. China,
Yeah.
India, Western Europe, and America. They have one thing in common. They have kept their languages, they've kept their culture,
That's
and
true.
they're united. Africa is the total
Language,
opposite.
culture,
Africa
and
is
unity.
Africa is just the opposite. we we discard our languages. We're so divided. We don't know who we are as a people. So if you could try to be that vehicle of change, and at least because many people have been doing it. In Kwame Nkrumah did it. Many people do it. But that doesn't mean that you stop. Just try to be there, and then later on someone will take up the challenge and the mantle until the end goal is reached. So also something I'd also want to input back home and in Africa, especially. Yeah.
Wow. So you
Wow.
talked
So
about
you
your
talked about your
podcast.
podcast.
In fact,
In
I
fact,
think
I
your
think
podcast
your
is one
podcast
of
is
the
one of the
best
best
and the
and the
best
best
podcasts in
podcasts
China
in
so
China
far.
so far.
Would you like to
Would you
talk
like to
more
talk more
about your
about your
podcast and what
podcast
you've
and
been
what you've
doing
been doing
there?
there? Uh, Being the first, no, but being the most known, yes. As I said, I started it in 2022. There was, I think, one or two podcasts, but I
Yeah.
tried as much as I invested in marketing. Like I would try as much as possible to put it in people's faces, try to create that brand thing. But
Yeah.
the podcast is just I bring people like you or people like anyone who reaches out and be like, I want to share a story about what I'm going through, a business or a passion that I have, or I bring people talk about their country, just to so that in a sense that I'm thinking on the point of view of the listener who's listening it in any part of the world, because our
Yes.
target is the diaspora. You feel inspired, be like, okay, these guys in China, they're doing something, this girl is in China, she's doing something, and you'd be like, yeah, people are doing some good things, I could also do it. So that was the major aim for it. However, the personal aim for it is that originally
Yes.
I was a writer, and I tried as much as possible, because I believe, like what you're doing and everything, you need marketing, you need exposure, you need to go to
Yes.
different platforms. So I tried reaching out to platforms just to host me, put me there,
Yes.
but they were asking me for money, which was very sad. And that's why I like people like you, what you're doing. You're giving people platforms to share their stories and everything, and that's commendable of you. But then, by
Yes.
then, 2021, 2022, you had to pay, even if it was for someone with
Wow.
only four subscribers. For him, he also wants you to pay. And it was very frustrating. Very, like, why? It's not a business. First, okay, yes, you want to earn, but
Yes.
first, I didn't understand it. And these Africans, and I was ashamed. I was like,
I didn't know that. Wow.
trust me, Dax, it was very, very, very sad. This is 2021, 2022. You had to pay to be on
Really?
a show in China, for someone to put you on a show in China. All the shows that I was with in China before I started my podcast, except one or two, I paid.
Yes.
Until I got
Wow.
a time and said, no, I think I can go and do my own. I'm tired. Let me go and do my own.
Really?
So, yeah, that's the truth. So, and I think right now, I think it's kind of changing. People are now, you know, but by then it was money, money. If you don't have money, then don't talk. But yeah, that's how it is.
Wow. 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 So, what is your future goals with your podcast? How are you planning to advance it for it to reach most of Africans? I are your biggest audience Africans?
Yes, my biggest audience are Africans in China, followed by those in Europe. Africans in Africa, not so much. I don't know why we haven't reached there yet. But
Yes.
the majority are the ones here in China. Future plans, already we started on one of them. We created the studios, we have a journals, and events. Events is where we try to take part in organizing events that bring Africans together, such as
Yes.
the African Gala Night that was here in Wuhan. We tried our part to, put in some resources and do marketing for that event. So that's the major thing. That's how we are doing. Future plans, as for now, I don't know how far we shall reach, but we just keep pushing day by day. I just believe that through the podcast, I've tried in my own way to, one, to change the African narrative, two, to to give a baseline through which other content creators can do their, because before there were around two podcasts when I was starting. Now I am seeing there are very many podcasts now right now in China by foreigners. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, at least people are doing something. So it's nice when you lead the pack, and
Oh wow, that's so powerful. So I think another way to grow your platform is to add video sessions, probably on YouTube. I think that will also help.
yeah, true. Though the issue I have with YouTube and video sessions, most of my guests are shy. They don't want to be
So
on camera. So
okay.
but those who manage to be on camera, I put them on. But majority, I would say 95% want it audio. So you go with what it
Oh,
is.
let me give a big shout out to Rose and all those who have joined listening or watching. If you want to join this live stream, you can just click on the link and you can turn on your video to add any contribution or any thoughts. And we really appreciate your presence here. Thank you very much for joining. Today we are discussing, we have a special here. He's sharing his experience of how China has impacted his life so far. Thank you very much for joining. So, about scholarships in China.
Mm.
If somebody wants to apply for scholarship, how do they get that opportunity? Or how do they apply? Before you continue, let me add Rose. Rose is here. Let me add her. Hello, Rose. You're welcome.
Hello, Jack. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you
Hello.
so much for joining. Can we see you on the camera? Oh, wow.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, thank you very much for joining. And so far, I know you want to add something. Or, yeah.
Yes, Jack. I'm here. I can hear you quite well. I would like to ask why is your background having an echo?
You like to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to I think that I sorry. The CEO from Sangyin Podcast really gave great highlights on situations that are happening in China. And I've not listened to episodes from Songyang, but I think from now, I'd love to listen to some episodes because what you're doing is really important. And I look at it like we are all creating a library of resources for the global community, and that is something uploadable. I wanted to say that. And a question that I have is, how do you think we can enhance Pan-Africanism among Africans in China intentionally and kind of deploy that back to Africa? Maybe do you have like some strategies that you would suggest, especially for Africans listening or the ones that in the diaspora that are able to listen to what you're speaking now? Yeah. I was speaking to a certain lady at the beginning of last year. Sorry, I'm from Nigeria. And she was also talking about something like, okay, she wants to write a book on modern Pan-Africanism, great strategy. I think when we come to China, we learn more about ourselves, and that's why we end up acknowledging and appreciating where we come from. So that's why modern Pan-Africanism is very crucial, right? So yeah, I wanted to hear some of the strategies that you would suggest. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I was trying to put on my lighting.
Thank you very much, Rose, for those questions. I think he will answer them.
I hope I'm clear. Sorry, my lighting isn't that strong. Though there's an echo. I don't know if it's clear right now, but I can't hear you, Dax.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay. No, the echo is still there. Okay. Thank you, Rosaline, if I got your name very well. For that question. Before I answer your question, one thing I've realized with the African community here is that it's very, very, very tough to be a Pan-Africanist in China, or I would say in Africa in general, because one arm you're stretching it to change the African narrative, the other arm the Africans are pushing you behind, which I find it very hard. I once said it. I once wrote it on my blog. But that aside, with those challenges, there, how we can change an African narrative. The first thing is through what we're doing here, content creation. I may be into podcasts, Dax may be into vlogging or interviews or stuff like that. Another person may be through writing, another person may be through any other thing, filmography and everything about Africa, which, as I said, in China is not there. Apart from me, what I'm doing, there is no other WeChat channel that is strictly talking about African stories and African experience. None. It's always about vlogging, my life in China, this and this, which is good, but there's only mind that when you listen to our videos, you're looking at the African experience, you're looking about African countries, you're looking about African this. So if there could be very many, I would be very happy. Because what if one day I die? That means it will go. That means mine will die out. But no, there should be other people following the mantle to keep pushing Africa. And then another thing which is key, events. One thing I like about Africans in China, we like to have a good time. We like having a good time. A good time is very key. And one of the things why we started our Sangyin events part is that we try to realize if you want to spread a message to Africans, the best way is put them in an event. So there's food, music, and vibe. Once you put them in that such a setting, you can spread the message. You can even do a political campaign. So events is another key thing that we need to put in there. We have events here in Wuhan for Africans, Wuhan AFCON and African Gala. It's the same in Xi'an. I've seen they're doing some more good work in Xi'an. I've seen they're doing some in Beijing, in Guangzhou. They also have. So if those events there that keep on bringing us together, how much we talk on interviews and podcasts, but if you want to bring the person who is shy about podcasting and what, trust me, they will come for the event, and that's how you can get them. That's how you can spread the message. That's how you can change the narrative. So yeah, hope I've answered your question.
Wow. Thank you very much. That's true. What are some of the ways that the Africans are trying to pull you down in terms of your content creation?
It's a very good question. The first thing is support. To be honest, Dax, I haven't. When you look at Instagram or what, everything is moving fine. But behind the scenes, I haven't received so much support from my fellow Africans in China. You really feel the support. The support may not come in terms of money or what, no, because I haven't earned any single money from my work. But even the support of someone even coming on your show, it's always, because mine is a guest-oriented show, so you have to be the one to look out. Most of them will turn you down. Most of them will do this. The support is not there. Number two, there's this trash talking. Okay, I haven't been a victim of the trash talking, but I've seen other content creators or other businesses that are trying to pull it through, and there's always that envy, there's always that backbiting that I've seen it go through, which I fail to understand why. Because if an African, if Dax is doing something it's doing well, by the fact that I know Dax, I feel like I'm also doing well. But for some people, that's not good. So there's also that envy, backstabbing, and all this. And then another one is, I would say, competition is good, but bad competition is bad. Let me give you an example. Last year, there's an award ceremony called the what's its name? Africa whatever award ceremony. It's in Beijing by a lady called Dr. Samantha, very respected lady. She has done her awards for 10 years. So last year, she got a phone call from guys from Guangzhou who wanted us tips on how to do awards. So she accepted. She gave them tips. The funny thing, she was doing her awards in July. The guys of Guangzhou were also doing theirs in July, which is fine. But the guys of Guangzhou were now just talking her awards, saying her awards are old-fashioned, they're no longer substandard, they're no longer on mono. They were just talking her awards. And yet, it would make sense if we all put our resources together and make something really, 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 really credible. So those are the ways I feel like you may want to push the African cause so much, but then you may have challenges going forward. Yeah.
Wow, I think in the future we'll just have time to talk about how to overcome these kind of challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not divert it now. So before we even leave, how has China changed your life?
A lot of ways, a lot of ways. By the fact I'm even confident speaking here. I came to China as a shy boy. Um, China changed. First of all, it has given me education. I came for education, so it has given me education. I thank China for that education. Second of all, it has given me the ability to meet people from very many countries across the world. You know, you could just see them in the atlas, but now I knew someone from Samoa. You know, the ability to meet many people from other parts of the world, I can't take it for granted. I've been here in China. They also the ability to be exposed to different things, especially in terms of technology, infrastructure development in China is. I never knew there was a subway. I never knew there was 5G. I never knew it just happened here. And for Chinese, it's everyday thing. But when you go back
Yeah,
home, when you tell people this, they think you're in heaven or you're bragging. But because of that
yeah,
exposure, you know, you've seen a lot of things. Another thing, China has given me the opportunity to develop my talent. As I've said, the podcast, the writing, you know, content creation here and there. Yes, it
yeah,
has enabled me that. And I advise many people to take that initiative, develop their talents here in China. Another thing is that China has the last thing China has enabled me have a better understanding of myself because you know as you're doing all these career improvements, the talents and all that, you also have time to retrospect and learn more about yourself, learn about your beliefs, learn about your systems. Maybe someone may say because I came when I was a bit young, but
yes,
still, you even if someone I would say comes to China when they're 50, there is a point in your stay where you think about yourself, yourself and your ups and downs, and yeah.
yeah.
China gave me that opportunity.
Wow, that's so powerful. I'm so happy China has really impacted your life this way, and in the future, you also go and apply this knowledge you have gained back in your country. In fact, I really appreciate your time for honoring our invite and being open, sharing everything open. And I wish you all the best in your career and your academics, the podcast, everything your life in China. And people should follow your page, Sangyin Podcast. Yes, I'll add your link of your page to the description box where people can follow. And thank you very much for everything. And those who join, every week we'll be bringing Africans who are living outside, and they'll be sharing their life experience, their challenges, and the opportunities available. The main purpose of this platform is to share the opportunities and the knowledge people have gained outside Africa, which can help us develop our continent and our nation. He said China has changed his life so much, and we can't wait to see your life change soon when you also join us in China or any other country as well. What are your last words before we leave?
My last words is be humble, everyone. Um, be humble to learn opportunities. Be humble to learn from others. Be humble to expose yourself to many new things in life. So that would be my last words. Always be humble. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Always be humble. And a big shout out to everyone. Rose, Ellen, Asamoah Kakari, and everybody who's going to watch this live stream. Thank you very much for staying tuned and listening. And I hope that this conversation will also impact your life. It will also help you learn more things and have more knowledge about China and your next decision. Thank you, and stay tuned for more upcoming conversations like this, where we'll be having one international student to the United States to be sharing how to apply for scholarship to the US without using an agent. We have more content coming. Stay tuned and take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.